What's poppin', everybody? Sunday NFL Week 5. Vikings-Browns underway, as we know. Let's get to it. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a profitable Saturday with college football. MLB playoffs, pretty loaded slate yesterday. MMA also. Definitely a great day for sports yesterday. Let's follow it up with an amazing day of the National Football League today. Give me 2 seconds to get the promos out for the boys as always. My computer's being slow. Let's hurry up, computer. Live now, talking week 5 best bets. We're going to be using Pick the Odds as always on Sundays. Finding EV. I have a bunch of spots that I bet actually yesterday. We're going to check the market on those. We're going to go through game to game. We're going to find EV props. We're going to use boosts across all of the sports books. We're going to talk about the best bets on the board, and we're going to do what we always do on Sunday, find some amazing bets. Been an absolute heater this season. Week 3 was tough, but weeks 1, 2, and 4 were absolutely massive, as we know. So give me 1 second here to get the promo out like I always do, and then we'll get right into it. There we go. Let's go. We have, of course, Browns Vikings going on as we speak. That's always fun. Cam Akers turning back the clock, the old QB there, as we know he was a QB back in the day. He scored through that touchdown pass. I have the game on my other monitor. Obviously, don't think I'm allowed to stream that shit because of NFL and trademarks and all that, so I'm not going to get kicked. Let's go through the board. So we'll periodically check in. Maybe we can find some live bets for Browns and Vikings. Another feature of Pick the Odds that's great is they have the box score. They have everything you need for the game. Right here. They have the play-by-play, box score. This, of course, the updating live odds, which is a lot what we're obviously intrigued by. We will be checking in on this periodically throughout stream and see if we can find any player props or honestly anything we could find for this game that has EV. Maybe we can get some live bets in. I have Jeremiah Thrash touchdown anytime, hoping that preseason connection with Gabriel ends up being, what we saw then translates to overseas. In the first start, we got that Fannin first tutty, then of course that Jalen Naylor touchdown from Cam Akers. So we periodically check it in here, but I'm only sweating Thrash anytime. We could actually check what that is, because right now, based on the odds, it's absolutely probably crazy. He was on the field, which is the most important thing there. Yeah. 25-1 if you want to tell. I mean, listen, we're talking about a 25-1 long shot. It isn't anytime tutty. So, I've done a lot of crazier things in my life and hit a bunch of more, crazy slips to get the 25-1 than one guy to score a touchdown, albeit, of course, Dylan Gabriel's first start just got sacked there, and a lot of stuff going on. But let's dive into some props here. Cowboys, Jets, and also we'll talk game line. I haven't bet this game. I saw the total go up from 47.5 to 48.5. I was interested in the total at open, but I didn't get in, so not anything to talk about here. But we have the market mostly 48 at Circa and Penny, 48.5 at the rec shops across the league. We'll also do what we normally do. We always look at the pros versus Joes from Prime Sportsbook. They're an actually sharp sportsbook. I say this on every stream. Like if you have best app, most lopsided action at MGM, that doesn't matter. Most lopsided action at ESPN bet, that doesn't matter. And not saying necessarily it matters for Prime. But with that being said, if you're gonna care about one of those, pros versus Joes, it would be a sharp sportsbook like Prime. And it's honestly been hitting pretty well. We'll double check in there. The tweet isn't up just yet for what they're betting going on there. So Jets Cowboys, 47.5, 48, 48.5. Spread, as we know, is tight. I think it's one of those situations where we know how bad the Cowboys defense is. Jets, of course, on the short week know how bad the Jets are, but the Jets at this point getting 1.5 realistically here. Not really some 2.5s in the market. These are priced pretty high. If you have bet minus 115, if you're interested in the Jets, if you're interested in the Cowboys, minus 1.5 and Novig is basic there, but we should go with some money line odds as well. We can see how the market has moved here. Let's pull this up here. The market has gone pretty drastic movements here. We'll just look at Circa for now for the east of the interface here. We have Circa that opened when they did on the 29th, basically, or this is like very early open here, sitting at the 140 range, and then it went up to the 150 range, but then we're down to 150, down to 125 on the money line at Circa, 25K limits as we approach game time, and then boom, another big drop to 120. So we're seeing that minus 120 at Circa on the Cowboys. So money kind of coming in on the Jets, it would seem, at least. And I understand why. The Cowboys defense is abysmal. The Jets are a poorly coached team, a team that absolutely, honestly stinks realistically. There's no other way to really put that. But they're in the Meadowlands. This a little bit reminds me of the situation last week with like the Giants and the Chargers, where there's not like a massive mismatch like the Chargers O-line going against the Giants D-line, which is what really converted that to being a massive win for the Giants and able to like get pressure, get 2 turnovers on Herbert and, win that game. The Jets don't have a similar advantage like that, but I think that the Cowboys defense is just so bad that there's just going to be opportunities for the Jets to move up and down the field here. I saw a bunch of EV on some field stuff as well, so we're going to dive in, and I have FTN ready to go. Braylon Allen, of course, not playing, so Breece Hall definitely expected to get the majority of the workload from a rushing perspective. And the prices already are kind of dictating that. I'll dive into a second here. Just forgot to do one more promo, which I'm going to do right now, but we're going through every single game. As always, we're using all the boosts. So I've actually been looking at the boosts today. We have boosts on Caesars, MGM, DraftKings, and FanDuel. So we'll just find the best odds on all of those, and we'll make sure that we're getting the best bets here. Just log it into my accounts on my phone quickly here, just so I'm ready to rock with you guys, because a lot of times I'm doing too much talking and we're missing out on some value, or I'm missing on value. Hopefully you guys are getting in, but of course doing this for, to find some best bets and for some content. MGM Face ID, yes, please. All right, we're in. We're good to go. Okay, so MGM has a couple of boosts. DraftKings has a couple of boosts. Caesars has a couple of boosts. FanDuel only has 1 boost, I think. So we'll go through all of them, make sure we're utilizing them, and we'll get the best of our numbers here. Sorry for this little delay. I was logged in, but I went for a quick little walk and now it's gone there. So logging back into every account. Got to stay strapped, boys. We have profit boost, 25% for the Sunday night. 15% profit boost on a 4-legger. More than enough to make action on DK. Then on FanDuel, I know we have the 30%, but I think that's it. If I'm not mistaken. I think it might be a Sunday night here. But okay, I'm logged in. Let's go find some value. So let's look at some player props here. 48.5 market total's gone up, and I think it's a correct move. I definitely like the over. Not at market to like bet, but obviously like in the prop market for the scoring. The obvious suspects here for the Jets are going to be Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. Justin Fields, rush attempts were where I saw some value. Let's look at some rush attempt stuff for Hall and for Fields. Fields, this is what I was seeing. So this was actually 220 here for the alt, up to 9.5 rush attempts for Fields. So 10 rush attempts for a QB, plus 220 over here at MGM, 105 at DraftKings, 105 ESPN. So that's a pretty crazy number there. DK at 14.5, 375. We could pull up some Fields numbers on FTN and see if we want to alt up to that high. I mean, the Jets, let's pull up FTN right here. We're in rushing. So Fields, of course, 63.5% of the snaps. He, of course, missed some time with the injuries here. But let's do some usage here. Non-QB rush attempts. We want general attempts per game. Breece is at 13. Fields is at 8. Tyrod, of course, not playing. Braylon Allen, of course, not playing. The Jets do like to mix it in. So Isaiah Davis, I think, is going to definitely get some snaps, all things considered. But Fields rushing stuff, especially if the Jets do win. Now, I don't think this is worth adding into your projections or anything like that. But the Jets aren't projected to win. They are still slight dogs here. But if they do and they're getting some kneel downs, that could be 2 to 3 rush attempts for Fields right there. But I would absolutely not bank on that. There's 375 for 14.5. It's definitely intriguing. We can go week by week for Fields. So what did he have week 1? Fields had where's rush attempts here? Attempts per game. He had 12. Um, week 4 last week, he had 7. So this going back to PTO here, this 9.5 view of 365 is definitely worth looking at for a Fields like alternate there. I think that's very intriguing. And there's definitely some EV there based on the rest of the market. And the even odds at his base number, but it's 8.5. Like for one more rush attempt to get plus 220, like this is definitely a good bet. And this is 375. I kind of like it. 14.5 at 17-1. I don't think he's gonna run the ball 15 times, but like that's still intriguing because obviously has the concussion issues. He can definitely get decked. And the Cowboys defense is like really bad. I don't think they're gonna be getting a ton of pass rush. Just O line's been pretty good here. Fields rushing yards 49.5. So definitely expecting a big number there. Circa at 50.5. Baseline at DK here at 56.5. I haven't bet anything in this game. I have everything that I bet. Well, we're going game to game here, and I'll talk about what I have bet. But I will do like gun to heads here, like I've done on Stream Wednesday. I think this is an over spot, even at the 48.5, but I would not bet it at this point in the market. And I don't know. Like I feel like this is one game where it's like I see why the Jets are slight dogs. The Cowboys are getting the money here, but we can keep looking at some props because I do think touchdowns are worth like looking at because there are some spots, but 135 bookmaker for Fields. No, thank you. If he scores, Jake Ferguson, 172, 194, 199 at no vig, 198 actually a profit as well. Not really too intrigued. We know there's no CD Lamb. Pickens. Yeah, Pickens is getting the WR1 pricing. Plus 125, 115 circa, 120 no vig. So much liquidity on the under, but that could be a lot of over. So Pickens is interesting. The score. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. What's he getting? Minus 150? Yeah, minus 120 at MGM is actually a pretty good price for Javonte. Let's do this as well. Not letting me go there. I'll go to the MGM the old-fashioned way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build out a bunch of lays like on my computer. We'll build them out in different like apps, but I have to bet it on my phone. I always have location problems here, but let's like build out some slips. We'll have some slips going on a bunch of different books. And then I'll lock it in. We'll use some boosts and we'll go from there. I'm including this in the slip. We'll see what like eventually ends up becoming of it. Like I don't need to be all touchdowns or anything. We'll find some EV spots, but this is an EV spot. Excuse me. Javonte 120. I think it's worth putting in there. Let's keep looking here. Definitely think there's going to be some touchdowns scored. This 500 here at MGM is also intriguing for 2+, but I don't think I'd bet that. I saw some good numbers on Dak rushing yards, actually unders. Let's see what this number has moved to. Going back to PTO here. 4.5 is where it was at, but I think the juice was like minus 105 when I liked it. Now it's getting a little bit up there, so maybe that's gone. Let's go back to anytime tutties. Dak, what's Turpin? Maybe he's not playing. Maybe I missed that. I'll get some injury reports going. I'll get underdog up as well. But some Jets, Braylon's, of course, out. Fields we looked at. Let's look at Brees. We saw the 115 at MGM. 115 across the board. Brees yet to score, man. I feel like he's got to score eventually. Like, hate to say the do factor, but the amount of touches he gets, like, we can go back to FTN quickly here. We'll go full regular season. Let's see. Base, red zone. 3 red zone, only 1 goal line carry, 2 goal lines for this. Braylon Allen was coming and getting those goal line touches, but he's obviously out. And we can also go to some passing stuff, of course, some receiving stuff, of course, for Brees as well. In the red zone, only 1 end zone target so far this year. Usage overall in the passing game, it's going to be high. Like, they love dumping it off to him. I mean, I don't blame them. He's obviously a hell of an athlete and has a hell of a pass catching back as well. Look at some other Jets as well. Like there's the usual suspects here for the New York Jets. Isaiah Davis. Let's look at some of his numbers on PTO. 550 for a guy who this year in the red zone has 2 red zone carries, no goal line. Snap count definitely going to go up with Braylon Allen. They love out. They love like doing a little bit of a mixture there, but it's not like Allen was dominating some rush here, just like taking away some snaps from Brees. So this is probably too long or not short enough still, honestly. Like a little bit of EV as you see there by DK. Have the ghost leg, so maybe we can do something crazy there. Let's go to Mason Taylor, then G Dub. But right now it's really looking like Javonte. Mason Taylor 4-1. Receiving numbers here. He is second in snap count. And in targets, he is third behind Brees. Cowboys defense is bad. 4-1 at ESPN is looking pretty good. I mean, his end zone, no end zone targets, no end zone touchdowns, of course. Lazard as well. Let's go to Lazard. We know this Cowboys secondary is soup. Lazard, only 4.9% of the snaps, 4 targets, 3 receptions in 3 games, but he has gotten 2 end zone targets. That is interesting to me, at least. And wrap it up with here, GW. Getting the WR1 treatment because he is a WR1. Brees is, Garrett is a freaking stud. 150, 155 for Nags, actually best price. Do a quick first touchdown scan on some of these guys, because maybe there is something crazy. G-Dub, 950, decent to circa there. That's intriguing for Garrett. Of course, he is their go-to there. Mason Taylor, 22-1, same price at circa. That's interesting to me. That's like more of a line that I'm intrigued by than Wilson. What's like Ruckert? Only 4 targets, 7-1 at circa, so I'm going to pass there. But we also didn't look at what's his name here? Josh Reynolds. 25-1, 25-1. Interesting. Anytime for Josh Reynolds, because its secondary is so bad. I know Fields is probably not the guy to take advantage of it, but like we could find some breakdowns, hopefully. Nothing too good there. First TD, Reynolds. So some Dallas stuff. Pickens, 8-1. Javonte, I'm guessing it'd be like 450, 500. Okay. 550 MGM is interesting, but I don't love that for first tutties. Jalen Tolbert, what's his odds? 17-1. Nah. All right. I'm probably going to pass on any first tutties here, but I do like Javonte at the 120. I'm putting him in MGM ready to go for potentially a parlay, but let's I think we can move on to the next game. We'll be back bouncing between games as like things change and we see some EV, popping up across the screen there. But as it stands right now, I think I'm going to lay off anything from a touchdown perspective here, but I will eventually definitely be getting into some other stuff. So nothing for me there. Texans, Ravens. Let's move on. So I think Texans are mispriced here on the money line. I still think that they are absolutely this number definitely obviously moved with the Lamar news. Like Lamar was looking to be out for weeks now. And I'll pull up some underdog stuff. Not for weeks. He's going to be out for weeks, but like from the beginning of the week, we could tell that Lamar was not going to play based on how it moved. And I think this number might not have moved enough, believe it or not, even though it has, moved a good amount. This 112 on the money line at FanDuel being the best price, I'm actually very interested in. Let's confirm. Low hold, best in market by a good margin here. I think the Texans are absolutely live. Like Cooper Rush is so damn bad. And I talked about this on stream Wednesday. Like when you have like the way that the the Ravens like have their backups, they had similar players to Lamar. They had, Snoop Huntley and some other quarterbacks that at least could like operate the same kind of offense. Like this is not that situation. Like Cooper Rush is like an entirely different kind of quarterback. This 112, I'm betting this at FanDuel. I'm betting Houston. DeMeco Ryans' defense is amazing. We know the Texans are bad, but also all the injuries to the Ravens. Like it's not just like, oh, they don't have Lamar. Let's see if they can do it. Their defense is absolutely decimated. Just moved to 118 on us. You saw that shit. Hopefully somebody was just getting in to get in. The 118, I don't love as much. The 112 was a discount. I mean, it's still better than Bookmaker and Circa, as we see it, peak the odds. But man, that's like a you snooze, you lose. Somebody here is listening. That would have been a nice bet. Hopefully, somebody just got in there. That is annoying, but I like the Texans to win this game. But I do already have a play on this one. I bet the under at 41, minus 118 at MGM. 40 and a half, 110, 125 on the under. I know the Ravens D, like we just mentioned, like they're absolutely decimated, but at the same time, I don't think that they're going to just put up 30 themselves or 20 themselves. And the Ravens, how are they going to get to 20? Like genuinely. So I looked at some props here. There are two props that I like. One I bet, one that I saw my boy Ty actually tweeted. I didn't bet it yet, but like I will shout out to Ty if we do end up playing this, but we'll take a look here. Let's see. We have it was a rushing yards. He took Henry's under. He faded Derrick Henry, which obviously is never for the faint of heart, but of course, a lot of times there are, value on some guys rushing unders here. Let's see some of the best numbers out here. Caesar's 87.5, Circus at 87. This to me is very interesting, and his point was like, which is true in all facets, like without the rushing threat of Lamar, and that Derrick Henry's going to run the ball, as much as difficult it is to tackle, like undeniably, it's not the same type of threat that he possesses. Like you're not as, I won't say as scared, because of course you gotta be scared of the king, and the king can break an 80-yard run in one play. We all know what Derrick Henry is capable of, but this could be like a stacked box. And in that situation here, I bet Cooper Rush passing unders. Let's see if the prices are still good. I bet it at under 188.5. That's still there at MGM. This is the price I bet it at. I would bet it still. It's a low number. It's ugly, and there could be some garbage time. Keeping Javonte in there. I talked about Javonte. I like his under his anytime, but here I like this. If you guys want to tail, MGM has the best number, 188.5. And we can look at the market. We'll go back to PTO here. There's a big discrepancy. Circus at 181, which isn't like a massive thing for QB passing yards. Like if that was like rushing yards or receiving, it's a big difference. But like for passing, it's obviously not that big. FanDuel sitting at 183 for the under. I bet the under. I'm not going to try to middle with such a small margin there, but I bet Cooper Rush under 188.5 passing yards. So I would definitely take a look at that. I bet the under 41 in this game, and I want to bet Texans money line. We'll keep coming back to this and see if like a price. Oh, it's back on FanDuel to 112. I don't really think I'm scared of that. Let's see if like Prime Sportsbook tweeted out there like pros versus Joe's report. Just out of curiosity here. Patrick Erickson tweets a shout out to him. He does a great job. Nothing from them today, unfortunately, just yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming in at one point. But what the 122, bro? What? Too much talking, man, and this is going 122. Now this 115 at Novik seems a little bit better, but couldn't get in on the Texans. 122. I wanted that 112 badly. All right, I like the Texans. We'll keep monitoring that there. Browns in the red zone here. PTO is probably updated. I'm definitely watching on a delayed stream. Still in a fade, but there's a flag. We'll check in on that in a second. Overall, though, Henry under and Rush under. I think it's a tough day. I like Houston money line. I like the game under, even with all the defensive injuries to the Ravens. It's just like the Texans scoring 24 is hard to imagine, though. If they do score 24, the Ravens, number one offensive football, scoring 20 themselves seems like a far-fetched kind of situation. So, hoping for like a 20-13 kind of game. Let's go Texans and under. Giants Saints, another game where I like the under, but there are two players that I like touchdowns for. So I also bet the Saints money line at minus 120. This 122 at DK still seems good, though. Bet openly, an amazing exchange if you guys don't have. It's fully peer-to-peer, legal in a bunch of states. Can't recommend it enough. They run a great shop. Minus 117. So if you are trying to get in, I would bet this here. The 120 I bet was the best price in market when I did bet it. But I bet the Saints. We saw this number move that we could pull up the money line odds and look at the movements here ourselves. Let's go to the Saints here on the money line. We had some pretty solid movements here overall. We'll check off some of these just for the East. No FanDuel. We want Circa. Let's see how this has moved. So opening at them plus 112. Now we did a complete flip. The market did a total flip, 132. Coming back down 128. But here's the thing, right? So, like, the Giants D line should definitely still feast against the Saints O line. It is missing some players there. I also bet a couple of props here as well. I took Jackson Dart under passing. I took him under 187.5. Let's see where the market's sitting at right now. I haven't checked it. I bet all these on Friday, actually. 187.5. And I normally stream Fridays for all props, but I was not capable of, but for good reason this week. I was ready to go, but I have some exciting news dropping next week for one of the tools here, but I'm going to keep that under wraps. But that seems to be gone. What's his base number at now? Let me switch between Rattler and Dart and get that number back. I'm interested in Dart unders. This will pull up his like baseline. Okay, so I bet it at MGM at 187.5. Circa's at 173. So I got a good number. I'm not doing this to pass post. Like, I'm literally just trying to see if there's still value on some of the stuff I bet. But I don't know. 175.5. That is 12 yards less, fewer than I actually bet it at. So it's hard for me to like sit here and recommend that you tail at that number. It's probably not good at that number anymore, honestly. Unfortunately. Full transparency there, but I definitely am looking for some Dart unders. I think that he is cooked. But even with this game being, in my opinion, like an under type of game, I still think there are a couple of touchdowns that I'm interested in for both sides. One of them being Theo Johnson. Plus 450 here at DK with some value. I can't pull up the slip here. I could pull up the first touchdown, I think. And I'll get these going. We're betting all the boosts that we have, finding EV legs, but 20-1. What was MGM though? That was 24. I thought I saw 24. No, it's 16. So best price is there. But on DraftKings, we'll go to TD scores. I like his anytime. Theo Johnson. He is, obviously no neighbors. Like Slayton can get a lot of love, but Theo Johnson, the young kid from Penn State, I like him a lot. And Juwan Johnson, I talked about this on stream. Juwan Johnson, anytime tutty, plus 310 here, 320 at PointsBet, best price in market. We can go back to here and do, again, Theo and Juwan. These are both guys that I really do like today. We know how much Juwan has been getting targeted big time. 21 plus 2,100 here. I'm interested in both of these, and honestly, a little bit of a Johnson parlay. I think that could be a fun one. I think that they're two of the most likely guys to score. We could take a look at some other guys here. We're doing more like holistic, and we'll dive in and finalize some of these props. We'll bet some stuff as we go as well, of course. But like, what's Wandale? 280. Okay, best price of DK for Wandale. Does Hyatt even play anymore? Let's look at FTN. I have no idea if Hyatt even plays anymore. Let's pull up some Giants stuff here. We'll pull up Giants and Saints. I'll switch my screen in 1 second here. NYJ. And now we'll get them in the same view and take a good look here. This is receiving targets. We have Neighbors, of course, dominating for the Giants. Numbers are going to be for the Saints. Neighbors is obviously out, excuse me, for the Giants. Numbers are going to be skewed for New York, of course, because no Neighbors. So that's going to be, 75.3% of snaps gone to a wide receiver, as we know. Wandale, and then of course with the Jackson Dart stuff, like we still haven't established who their WR1 with Dart is. That's still to be determined. Olave still getting a huge snap share. Number one in targets in this game overall. Juwan Johnson, number 2, 31. Shahid's still getting 25 targets. Scattaboo, Cooks, there's Theo right there, 15. Which is why I still think Theo. I think the young guy connection is live and well there. But Hyatt, off my radar, absolutely. I just almost forgot he existed for a second. Scattaboo anytime. This 105 at Circa. If I was in a Circus, I'd bet this under. I'm intrigued by that, honestly. Darius Slayton, of course, the guy who does some big things here. Sorry, I didn't switch my screen back. Plus 390 at DK. he's of course a guy who can always take a step up when there are injuries. On the Saints side, 310 for Rashid Shaheed, 25 targets, 18 receptions, end zone, just 3 targets, 1 touchdown. Brandon Cooks, 1 target, 1 touchdown. Chris Olave is still the dominant guy in the red zone for the Saints. Interesting to note. But I do like this under. Let's look at the total and some of the pricing here on the total. 40.5, 42 at circa, 41.5, kind of at most major books. 110 here at MGM is a little bit intriguing for the under. Excuse me, still like holistically looking at the board, so nothing that like I think is worth betting just a second. But I have bet so far, and I mentioned this. I bet the Saints money line. I bet Houston Baltimore under 41. We went through these games. Dart under 187.5 passing yards, rush under 188.5 passing yards. I have bet those already. Let's go to Miami and Carolina, and I bet the Dolphins money line. Obviously, there's no Tyreek. I know there's a lot of the concern about without Tyreek, like what's kind of going to happen. They're going to be like explosive. But to me, right, like obviously, like that's true. But Tyreek did add this element, but it's not like he's been lighting up the scoreboard this year by any means. And I think they'll actually be able to move the ball still without Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill definitely kind of like on his downswing a bit. Like he's obviously like a great football player, or was a great football player. One of my favorite receivers just on the field in the skill set. But overall, like he's not that guy anymore. And I think Miami can still move the ball. And their MO has been beating up on bad teams in the McDonald era. And the Panthers just straight up that. Like they're just a bad team. So I want to look at some touchdowns here that I haven't bet, but there is a bet that I did take on this game. I bet a player prop. I bet Ted McMillan over receiving yards. Let's see if the price is still there. Oh, there's Ted right there. I bet it at. Wait till I get to this game, and brother, you're not the only guy fan who thinks that. It's very popular at this point. It's almost too popular now, where I think like the commies might be in a good spot, but I'm all over the Herbert Masterclass. When we get to the 405s, or it's the 425 game. When we get to the 4s, I'll dive in because I have a couple of bets in that game as well, including the Chargers minus the 2.5. So for those of you who are just curious about the action and want to hear the breakdowns as well, I've talked about this Big Time Wednesday. I love all things Justin Herbert today. I love all things Chargers today. I wouldn't even say I fear Herbert Masterclass at this point, even though like I'm a Commander fan, which I know Fam knows that. And shout out to Fam, hell of a guy. Kid's been on an absolute heater, cooked yesterday. I'm a Commander fan, but with that being said, I bet where there's value, and to me, at 2.5, a bit like early in the week. I also fear, as a fan, it's a Herbert Masterclass, but because I can also gamble, I took the Chargers minus 2.5. So I bet Tet. Back to the task at hand here. I bet Tet over 58.5 receiving yards, and that number is long gone. Right now it's at 63.5, minus 115. Minus 110 here at Novig. I still like it, especially at the minus 110 at Novig. Let's pull it up here. If you guys also aren't using Novig, use promo code BetSmart. Get a purchase match up to 100% purchase match up to $25. So if you purchase $25 worth of Novig cash, you get another free $25. A lot of liquidity here. I like this for Tet. The offense secondary is abysmal, and Tet is like legit. Tet is a good football player. So I'm in a Tet. I did get a much better number, but I still think this is good here. 1 yard off of circa. This minus 110 at Novig. If you're betting and tailing, you got to do it at Novig. You're not going to spend 2 extra cents per dollar at FanDuel with a 5.66% hold compared to a 4.99. MGM, of course, the 115s. No. 265 is fine. If you're a 265 user, you can bet that there if you don't have Novig, but recommend betting Novig on the over 63.5 for Tet. But I bet Miami money line. I got minus 111, I want to say. Yep, minus 111 at Novig. It's still there. So again, Novig. There's a 110 at profit, 278, which is also amazing exchange. Promo code BetSmart as well if you want to get started. Waller yards. So I want to talk about this. I'm intrigued. I'm glad you called that out because last week I was like, there's just no way Waller comes back and is good. It's obviously a fantastic matchup for him, but I want to dive into the numbers here, fam. So I'm glad you called that out. But not a ton of liquidity, but at minus 109, if you are like a $200 better, or if you're even anything under a 278 better for a unit, I'd snatch up this liquidity if you want to tail. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, Miami's MO has just been beating up on bad teams in the McDaniel era, and the Panthers are the epitome of a bad football team. Let's look at some props here. Waller. We'll start with Waller yards for fam, of course. Receiving yards. Darren Waller. The thing about Waller, and I need to look at the numbers. We'll pull up the numbers from FTN too, because I'm curious how many snaps he actually played. I know we obviously had the 2 tuds in the first. 365 minus 110 for 30 plus. But I want to look at how many routes did he actually run. Like, was it one of those situations where like he just happened to be like on the right side of the snaps that he got, or was he actually like on the field and just like when you're on the field you have higher probabilities of catching passes if you're running routes. So we're going to specifically look at week 4 only, because it's the only week we have with Waller in the mix there. See, this is my problem, fam, is he only ran or played 24.1% of snaps, 4 targets, 3 catches, 2 tutties for 27. But let's look at opportunity usage here. Look at some of the routes run. Okay. That's my problem here, fam. He only ran 10 routes. So we had 4 targets and 3 catches on 10 routes, and 2 of them for tutties. So like obviously like that's encouraging, and you would expect a ramp up as he gets into better game speed, as he gets a little bit healthier, as he gets more familiar. And of course, there's no Tyreek. I can understand why, and we can go back to receptions. I'll do that on PTO in just a second here. But like for me, I'd rather not bet it, just because 4 targets, 3 catches, 27 yards on only 14 total snaps and 10 total routes run is just all too low for me. Like I would still rather go with like the touchdown route, expecting some red zone usage, because we can also look at we don't want deep receiving there, like air yards, alignment. These are some of the great numbers from FTN. Efficiency and base. We could look at the red zone stuff. So like he did have the 2 red zone targets, the 2 catches there in the end zone. So maybe he is just going to be that, like, he's obviously a massive big bodied guy. That's always been his MO. That's who he is as a player. Excuse me. Like, you could just look in it for that direction for like touchdowns. But for me, and going to like receptions, 2.5, like 4 receptions for 142 at FanDuel, 160 at Rivers, like if you are interested, but he didn't get enough game time. If there was a report or like some coach speak saying like we got to get Waller going, like, of course maybe go that route. But for me personally, just not enough usage yet. I'm not also anticipating an uptick. I know no Reek. I know another week, healthy, etc. But to me, that's no bueno. Let's look at some tutties here. What is HN? Probably, let's guess here. I'm going to guess minus 150. 130, okay. 145 at circa, so not too far off on my straight up guess there. Definitely intrigued by HN for the obvious reasons. What is Ollie? 290. Let's go back to some rushing stuff for PTO here, and we'll go weeks 3 and 4. That's when Ollie started getting some of his juice. 23% of snaps. What am I looking for here? The usage. Touches 42%, 15.8%. Rush attempts non-QB 62.7. Yeah, run D's abysmal. I'm just curious what they're gonna do, because like they're just so bad. Like I know what they did to the Falcons, but then again, you have to consider divisional stuff. Like I don't want to like harp too much on like divisional stuff, but like we know wonky things always happen in division. We know that those teams played each other twice last year. They know like what each team likes to do. Like they're on a very similar wavelength in those kind of situations. So to me, like that was like a perfect storm. They missed a couple of kicks and they got the pick 6 and the game was over to start the second half. Like to me, that's not sticky. And then we saw what happened to Carolina the next week. They got absolutely smoked. So I don't know there. Waddle, like there's a lot of mixture of thoughts on Waddle, like whether or not he's just gonna like feast or if he's gonna get, the market's just overreacted. I just think Waddle is a stud. And I think he still could feast. Let's look at some receiving numbers for him. What's Circa hanging? Are they even hanging? 66.5. MGM 61.5, minus 115. Even money on the over here at 62.5. I don't know. What's HN? HN 37.5, 35.5 showing some value here at DK. Is Circa hanging a number here for HN receiving? I guess not. Running back, they don't want any interest in that action there. But 112, 37.5. This is interesting to me. 2.38% ROI expected. We have boosts, so we could just do this as well. We could add it to a DK slip and kind of keep building. We have the boosts. Like we're going to be betting a bunch of stuff. I'll start filling out some things on my phone. Johnson & Johnson to me is still intriguing, but that's more of like a fun. But HN 35.5, we have boosts. I'm going to add that to slip in my phone so we're ready to go. And the boost that we have is an any TD score for week 5. That is a 33% boost. My max bet is 5s, which is ridiculous. We also have a 15%. Wait, hold on. What are you doing to me? I thought I saw a boost. I'm just going to build on my phone like a crappy parlay really quick I thought we had a boost. I have the ghost leg. Oh, there is a 15% boost on a 4-legger, and we have the ghost leg. So, maybe this would be a first leg for our 15% boost on DK, because there's definitely some EV on HN receiving yards, 35.5. They're going to feed Devon HN. I don't see any reason why they would not. So I'm adding that to my slip here. Rec yards over Devon HN, 35.5. Okay, on DK. We're building stuff out in every single app based on where the odds are. Then we'll use the boosts, properly. But let's look at some first tutties. I don't think the Panthers. What's the total actually? Let's get a little bit more of a holistic market approach on this one. Circa 44, 43.5. Dolphins defense is abysmal, so I understand why. Like I don't think this is a game like last week where the Panthers opponent basically goes over the total themselves, and the Panthers do a little bit to go over it as well. I don't see that this week with no Reek and Miami, of course, not being great. But again, this has been their MO, is beating up on shitty teams, and the Panthers still are exactly just that, a shitty team. Anytime parties we're looking at, let's go with some firsts here. I think there could be some value in the first touchdown market. HN, I'm guessing 5-1. Yep. Circa not showing anything here. Just curious what Waddle is. Not a 800. No. Waller after last week, 17-1 after last week. Again, though, his overall numbers are infuriating. 18-1 for Malik Washington to me is still very interesting. Westbrook Akine, 22-1. So these odds are definitely like hard to justify and jump on, especially with the injuries, but with the Reek injury. But we know that no Chuba, 550 for Dowdle, expected to be the lead back, of course. Cuba's out. Leggett, Dogwater, McMillan. I was hoping for a little bit higher for McMillan. I think he's definitely live. I was hoping for a 10, like a wide receiver one, getting 10-1 odds. The respect for Tet, man. I know he doesn't like being called Tet, but I'm still gonna call him Tet. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me. Obviously not gonna happen. So many NPCs on these teams, man. What's Julius Hill? 5-1. All right, I'm going to move on here, but we're going to come back. We're circling back to everything. Give me Devon HN in the slip. I bet Miami money line. I have Miami in Survivor as well, one of my pools. I'm in on the Fins. And we'll go through the EVs as well. We'll try to find some ARBs also. The Cowboys, Jets, Broncos, Eagles. Another fun one. I like the under, but the market said no. It was 43.5. Now it's like, all right, like I like under. We'll see what happens here. And this is one of the few times, because there were times like I talked about where I'm like, oh, like Jets, Cowboys, for example, I like the over, but it moved in the wrong direction. Now it's unplayable. This is the opposite, where I'm happy I didn't bet it, because I'd be sitting on a crappy bet with where the line moved to 45 and a half. So this 115 here, of course. The Novig 107. That's interesting to me, actually. Like that is bet worthy. Let's pull up Novig. That is, hold on. Now, even though the market did go the opposite way there, now I'm interested though. Let's do it the old-fashioned way here. The Eagles offense just is not good, and Bo Nix stinks. Like I still think Sean Payton is like an absolutely great coach. Liquidity here on the under 44.5, 10K, meaning the liquidity is coming on the over for 44.5. For two well-coached teams, especially with an offense, like Bo Nix has been so bad, but he's missed guys wide open. So like you can have like two schools of thought there. You could be like, oh, like Nick sucks, he's gonna miss guys. Or it could be like, you know, he has to, like, you would expect like a professional quarterback to like eventually, you know, hit those throws and make those plays and make things happen. So it's tough. I think I'm going to lay off though, because I don't really like fade the market like that on game day, especially considering what's going on there. And I could see it. I could see the argument for both sides, and it's not something that I've modeled out or I think is like a strong. But this spread, I like the Birds minus the 3.5. Looks like it's moved though. Let's check in here. 3.5, 115 at Novig, of course, but it's gone to 4.5. And to me, this makes a lot more sense. The 4, like, there's been a lot of talk. Definitely some sharp guys that I respect, and I'm not saying I know more than them. It's just like an opinion game, and the market is so efficient that you can have conflicting opinions and be right on certain things, wrong on other things. A lot of talk that the Eagles just aren't good. Like, people are unimpressed with their offense and their defense. Like, obviously, they've gotten relatively lucky in certain games. But if you ask me, like, I think that that's like the indication of a really good team. When you can win and play like shit, that isn't like, oh, in my opinion, especially when like the things line up. Like, you have obviously a great head coach in Sirianni, an amazing DC in Fangio, a stacked OL, great weapons, Hurts, who knows how to win football games, runs the ball, doesn't take sacks, doesn't turn the football over. When you add all of that up, to me, and then you squeak by the Rams, you squeak by this team, you squeak by that team, you have 0 passing yards in the second half, but you win a football game. And this is coming from a Commanders fan, by the way, too. So no Birds bias here. When you add all that up and you are 4-0, to me, it's less lucky. It's less like the Vikings 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe it was 4 years ago, when they were 8-0 to start the year, but they have all these terrible metrics and their team isn't good. That was like an obvious comeback to earth. To me, when you're this good, they remind me of like the Chiefs of a couple of years ago, or I should say for the last half decade, where despite how ugly it is, they win the football game. Why? Because they're a well-coached team with a quarterback that knows how to win, with good players littered throughout the roster. That's my take on the Birds. I don't think people are like, oh, I've downgraded the Eagles. They're not the best team in football. I couldn't disagree more. I think the Eagles are by far the best team in football, by far as a stretch. I think the Eagles are definitely the best team in football, though. They're number one in my rating still. And again, the way I view their wins, their recent performances, their start of the season, to me, it's not, oh, they're getting lucky if they're really not that good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not perfect. But no, my school of thought is they're winning games against good teams on the margins, and the ball's going their way. Like, its variance can, swing the other way. But because they're so solid, that's because they're winning because they're so good and they're winners and they know how to win. So that's my take here. Shout out to Fan for the repost, and hate this game, honestly, props wise. I hate every Denver Bronco game props wise. I have no interest. Like, we know the Surtain should be all over. Mitchell should be on Sutton. Surtain should be on AJB. Saquon obviously doesn't have the pop so far this year. But that's been another thing that people are saying, and like, oh, the Eagles stink. Like, Saquon doesn't have the pop. Like, do we really believe that Saquon just is bad, or is it just like he's getting his legs under him? Like, we're talking about a guy who had a historic season last year. Yes, the numbers aren't so pretty, but like, do we really think Saquon now, like 12 months, is just like not as good at football? Like, I don't buy it. Like, and I like to like normally like those kind of takes overall, but to me, that's just not the case here. And I get why it moved to 4, and I think that they're good to go. And like you said, fam, I hate this game for props. Like, I'm really not intrigued. Like, maybe there's a tutty here, like Saquon only scoring on that, fake tush push, which I was waiting for them to pull out. Not a good time to do so last week. Like, I also do agree with you, fam. Like, I'm not really interested in any props here. I have not bet any props here. Gonna move on, and we're gonna again betting all these boosts, and we're gonna bet some first touchdowns and everything. But glad to go through the games and talk about what I bet so far, and then we'll find some more stuff and use some EV stuff. But no, people hating on the Birds, and the Vikings just scored. Oh crap! What happened? What happened there? Let me pull it up here. I had the game on my other computer, but of course no sound on. 14-10 though, Vikings. It was Jordan Mason up the middle, 3-yard run. So any Mason ATTS backers or fantasy players. But no, I'm not interested in this game from a prop perspective either, fam. Like, I totally get it. Like, I know AJ Brown and Co said they're pissed off about their lack of usage, and like I don't blame them. But at the same time, they're winning football games. Like, how pissed are they? Also, Rossini has been wrong. The reporter Diana Rossini, she's been wrong so many times. Like, I don't fully believe like they're like, oh, tush push touchdown. Like, yeah, you want to score touchdowns. Smitty wants to score. AJ Brown, we know, is vocal about wanting to score and like be involved, and like all receivers do have that to them. Like, if you ever play wide receiver with your friends in the backyard, you're wide open, waving your hand, you don't get the ball, like you're a little bit annoyed. They win football games. They just won a freaking Super Bowl, and they were in one a couple of years ago. Also, I find it hard to believe that they're like a locker room cancer pissed. But that's just me here. Raiders Colts. Let's keep digging. I've been on the record saying I think the Raiders were live, but that was Wednesday, pre all the injury news. Now it really is tough because the Raiders are bringing a banged up squad to Indianapolis, but the market hasn't fully reacted. We see the move to 7, so it has a bit. So I take that back. I hadn't checked. 7 at circa is obviously a key indicator, especially with the 115 juice. But I could see how the Raiders are potentially live here. 7 also DKFD. 7.5 though, minus 120. So too much for me there. Let's look at some props. I haven't bet it. I have one bet in this game. I take that back. Call the narrative play all you want, but I'm Dome Geno hunting, and I also got a good number, so it's not like I'm just Dome Geno hunting for no reason. I know there's no Michael Mayer. Brock Bowers, banged up, injury reports coming out big time for them. Dome Geno, I bet it at 226.5, 225.5, 230 at circa, 230.5. I still think it's good. 4 yards or 5 yards in this case, like on a passing yard prop, to me isn't anything like game changing. The 115 is a little bit annoying. Would like a 110. This is locked here. So much uncertainty that actually I will say wait, because there are issues with injuries and whatnot for the Raiders. So maybe it's a tough spot, but if they're in a bad passing state, like we saw this with the Commanders game, the Commanders defense is obviously much worse than the Colts defense, especially from a deep passing perspective. But Geno, if they're getting crushed, like he's still going to be slinging the ball. Like he went way over his passing prop, almost 300 yards. I think it was the second leading passer of the day in that situation. So I think that even if this game is like a blowout situation, 226 is still low for Geno. So I bet that over. We're up to the 4 o'clock, so let's run through an EV screen quick, and then we will finalize the 4s, and then we'll finalize all the parlays that we have, because I have a bunch of stuff that I want to bet. I had bet a couple lays. We have a bunch of promos, so we're going to be cooking here. So let's just see some straight EV. This is our filter. It's been cooking this year. I think I do need to make some edits, and maybe I'll do so right here. Like just rush attempts, only seeing sport trade. So let me actually do this right now. You guys can take a look at PTO and how you go about it. You customize the entire EV calculation process here. So I have this just for NFL player props. But let me look at rush attempts. So I don't love my filter right now. I like having Sport Trade, but to me, I think the problem is I have it devigged to 2 books, and because Sport Trade is, like, broken up for where they are, I actually like the 125 here for NJ. Um, point 0.5, 1 for Circo, 2.5 for Penny, but Penny doesn't always or Circus doesn't always have numbers here. Could probably add some FanDuel. I'll do a 0.25 here. Um, I'm not sure what other like, I mean, Openly is always gonna have better odds. We could do some bet Openly potentially as well. So I'm not dying on my hill. Like, if there's a clear just like a misprice in the market, which we saw with like a Justin Field 10 plus being plus 220 for one more rush attempt on 365, we saw at the beginning of stream. Like, that to me is like kind of enough said. But if everything's just 3 different Sport Trades, like, I ignore and I probably should fix, which I just tried to do there. So, passing TD is the same thing. So let's do that, because as much as obviously Sport Trade is different in every state, like they have different operations in every state. It's not like Novig and Profit where they pool liquidity across the entire country. I wanted to add more, but that causes some problems to me in the sense of like I don't want to just have my 3 weights come from different Sport Trades. I want to be able to go across more of the market overall. So here we have some FanDuel, some Novik, some Profit, Circa, Penny. So I'm going to keep it just to like have a Sport Trade NJ be the number 1 there. And I want to not just be betting on stuff straight up from different, like I want to see this, right? I want to see DVIG from a bunch of different places. Keenan Allen, 5.5 receptions, plus 155, 142 bookmaker. So it's not like a crazy EV, 8%. Because I'm not DVIGing from bookmaker, which I probably could add that as well. This is intriguing. I like all things Herbert. Fan mentioned it earlier. I agree there. Waller 3.5. Like the EV is there, so like I think that he's not gonna turn up because I don't think he's gonna play as much. But that being said, if you don't want to if you want to stick to the EV, then this is just a bet and you don't really think twice, and that's obviously up to you. I generally do that, but in certain cases I lay off. Like Hunt's rush attempts, the Sport Trade Penny, and Novig 9.5. That's so high. That's for tomorrow as well. Make sure we're paused here because I don't want things moving. Juju over for tomorrow as well, likely over. Ramondre for tonight, 2.5, 140. The Penny FanDuel Sport Trade. Bookmaker 113, 145 at Betway. Market average 118. This is probably worth it as well. Marvin Mims under 2.5 at 365, 130. This is interesting. If I had 365, I'd bet this, no hesitation. Honestly, Mims under. I like that a lot. 116 at DraftKings. I'm gonna add that to my DraftKings slip just to have it like locked and ready to go, because I think I could see us using a boost on that. Browns in the red zone. Did I see that correctly? Brownies in the red zone. I'm delayed on my stream, but I saw it on DraftKings on my phone. So shout out to the Brownies. There's a live boost. I know, like I'm still monitoring this game in that boost, so we could definitely circle back there for a second. But I do want to make sure that we have our pregame bets in as well. But receiving yards, receiving props, Mims, receptions, over under, Mims under 2.5 plus 116 with the boost. We'll have some value, so I'm adding that to the slip for DraftKings there. Lot 365, a lot of lower EV stuff because of course we're toward the end here. But let's go back and finalize the rest of these 4 o'clocks, and then we'll bet a bunch of other stuff that we haven't bet so far. Again, for everybody who's kind of hopping in now, here's what I bet so far for today. I have Saints money line minus 120, Miami money line minus 111, Houston Baltimore under 41 minus 111, Tet over 58.5 receiving yards, Dart under 187.5 passing yards, Cooper Rush under 188.5 passing yards, Geno over 225.5 passing yards. My guy Foss, let's pop it. Read my FT account to 0 with pregame odds for today. Going to miss out on the promos. Listen, brother, depending on how much the promos are to your BR, Like, for example, if you're getting like even if the EV is 100%, but the max you can bet is 10, and for you the QK of your QK is 15, just for example's sake, I don't think you're missing out like a ton there. So I don't blame you. But Faust, I know you're always like looking at the markets as well. So if you see something that pops up, we'll gladly pull up on market and go from there here, and try to find something for the boys through you. Love your work. Bucks Seahawks. This is a game where I haven't bet anything. I definitely saw some EV 2 days ago on Rachaad White overs, specifically rush attempts. I didn't bet it. And then the report came out today where they're expecting to have Rachaad White be the future back, which I did expect. I don't know. Honestly, I think I got biased from Twitter. I was looking at some guys I like on Twitter, more fantasy guys, realistically. They were talking about how, they expect Sean Tucker to be in the mix. And it's like, I'm not going to lie. I did let the internet get to me there. I should have just bet the EV and moved on with my life. Because this was, I want to say this was like 12.5 when I looked at it, but like plus money too. Now 14.5, 107 combi is like, all right. But now it's like, it's juiced and like the market has moved based on like the coach speak, obviously the Bucky news. But this game comes down to like whether or not Sam Darnold is good, like actually good. I don't know the answer to that question. Tampa Bay littered with injuries that they've been all year. Seattle, tough place to play though. HFA, I had downgraded a little bit over the last couple of years. I don't know why it's 3.5. Like the Bucs seem to be that team that's just like are still getting undervalued because of Baker being a bit lucky, injuries out the ass, not like actually like a relatively loaded roster. I think Bowles is like a mid to bad coach, realistically. And I'm actually watching that 4th down in one play. I'm sure you guys already know what happened, but I'm delayed there. Saw that 1st down. I'm sure they probably already scored or turned it over or whatever. Big on the Saints. They grabbed money line plus 110 and plus 2.5 minus 110 last Sunday, Monday. Sharp. I was on the other side of the move in the sense where I got it at 120, which is like a good price for where we're at now overall. So I didn't get like the top. But if I wish I had a 110, but I'm in on the Saints with you there, brother. I don't have too many strong opinions on this one. I'm gonna keep moving here. Titans Cards. So this is like a game where it's like basically everybody knows that Callahan's the worst coach possible. So valuable, bro. Great snags. Those are amazing snags. I did get not a great price on not this game. It's the next game actually. Economy's Chargers. I bet the Chargers minus a 2.5. We'll see what the market's at now. I actually haven't checked yet this morning, but I know it kind of sat there all week. The alt injury was waiting, but opening lines are absolutely so valuable. If literally tonight or ASAP tomorrow morning, getting on some stuff being on top of injury news, some steam to Jets first half. I'm not surprised at all. We'll get back to that game there in a bit, but Cardinals Titans. There was a 7.5 minus 7.5 at Novig that was like plus 105 yesterday that I was interested in. But we're seeing a little bit of comeback here to the 7. It was 8.5, which we're seeing 110 at Novig here. We all know that Callahan's like the worst coach ever, and they're like a tough team. Like they don't win, they don't cover. Callahan makes terrible decisions. Cam Ward literally called his own team ass, which on one hand, I respect because, quarterback kind of taking accountability. On the other hand, very college. And I say that in like the sense where it's like the NFL. I don't know how I think if Jeffrey Simmons is sitting there, like listening to an interview of a rookie quarterback saying like our team is ass, is like, yo, this is motivating. To him, it's probably like this is a joke. I don't think it's, of course, Cam Ward's total fault. Like they quite literally have the worst team out there. They have the worst coach in football. So that's its own conversation, its own, sentiments there. I'm not really interested in this one. Gun to head, they'll give me the Cardinals, like not because it's all like the trends or whatever of like Callahan can't cover, which he can't. That's like not why I'm interested. Interested because of how bad it is. Njoku scored. I'm sure you guys already knew that. I'm late there. I wish I bet the Browns, man. Like I talked about it on stream, how I like the Browns 3.5, and like they still can and probably won't cover. But another situation where you gotta just trust your gut and your numbers in the market. There was a 4.5 too that I didn't bet, but I kind of wish I did. But Economy Chargers, I got the 2.5 minus 115, so really not even the best number. There were like better opportunities. Like this profit 112. Like, if you're interested in tailing, this is absolutely the place to do so. Especially they dropped the commissions to 1%, but 111, 27K. I lost 4 cents of value by not waiting. So I made a bad move here. And Fost, you'll at least like laugh at this a little bit. You're taking the under, fading the steam. I didn't bet that game. I like the over when it was 47.5. I kind of wanted to wait and see. But Fost locking in there. But you'll appreciate this. Like, I was trying to be a little bit big brain because I knew Alt was gonna be out. This was I bet this at an opener at 2.5 minus 115. And my like thought process was that even though he's out, like I think that the pressure rates for the Chargers have been astronomical. But the Commies DL, like they've been doing very well getting pressure, but they lost a couple of guys the last 2 weeks with injuries. Their secondary can't stop anybody. I think there's a massive coaching edge here. So I did expect this to close at 3. Right now, looking decent, though, plus 106 for the Chargers, plus 108 at Penny. So it is really still 2.5. Those circa juice the Commies, they're there. At the 2.5, Chargers, you got to pay a little bit of a premium. But I think this is a Charger spot all day long. I bet QJ overs. I got it at 60, over 50.5, so 60 plus. Let's look at what the pricing is for QJ now. Commies have nobody deep downfield, and I like this as like an under game as well. But I have 3 props that I bet here. QJ over 59.5. 62.5 at Cirque is actually the best price now. What's MGM at? Because I did bet at MGM. Oh, they went up to 64.5. So that's like not ideal. I like all Chargers receivers. To me, that's why it's like I think Fam called this out earlier. Like, obviously, if you like a bunch of guys, for the receiving, it's like, why not just target the QB? Now, 262.5 is a big number, so I'm off at this point. But I did get in on QJ over receiving yards. Chargers perception was great 2 weeks ago. Maybe market overcompensating for last week. I think they are absolutely overcompensating for last week, but I also think they're like JD5 is back and like he's my pride and joy, but I refuse to believe he's like really like this healthy. Like, it's kind of obvious that he's not going to be this healthy. And that being said, there's no weapons, man. Like, there's no weapons. Like, if they're going to run the ball, if Chris Rodriguez, Jerry McNichols, and Bill run it for, 200, which is possible. Like, the Commies are third in rush yards per game, if I'm not mistaken. 200 is obviously a bit big, but you know what I mean. The 150 to 200 range, they're just dominating the time of possession and do force some turnovers because Herbert did have those 2 picks last week. Then like I guess I get it, but like I don't see it there. So back to the JD5 stuff here. I bet it's under rush yards. Like, I could see how it's like square in the sense where it's like, oh, you're betting on a banged up QB going under, like duh, but like to me exactly that. In the market, I bet it at 48.5. We're down. We're down to 44.5 here, best price of the under at Penny at 102. So I'm not in on the fact that JD5 is hurt. And conversely, I guess I bet these both straight, of course. I bet Chris Rodriguez over 23.5 rushing yards. 24.5 seems to be the base number here. Circa have a price, probably doubtful on backup running back. Bill also looked good last week, and Cliff's pulling the coach speak for talking coach speak, which to a degree you kind of have to respect the coach speak. Bill mentioning that, or Kingsbury mentioning like we'll just ride the hot hand. So did not give any definitives on who to expect from a quarterback perspective or from running back perspective, I should say. But my props that I bet QJ over 60.5, or over 59.5 receiving, JD5 under 48.5 rushing, and Chris Rodriguez over 23.5 rushing. So, and Chargers minus the 2.5 here. So that's my game of the week. I have a bunch of plays there. Lions, Bengals, and then we'll build out the rest of the boosts here on every slip. We had some things move. 8 chance number moved. I'm talking too much. We'll cook those together. There's just so much going on. GRP released a secret formula, if you guys know. So I have a lock of the day. I've never had a bigger bet in my entire life. Bengals plus 10. No, I'm just playing. Still sitting 10.5 realistically. So they're gonna move to 9.5. I saw him tallying that CLV. Jokes aside, though, I don't know how many of you guys are tuned into that nonsense content. It is absolutely hilarious, but it's absolutely nonsense. Lions obviously humming, Bengals not doing that. I don't have a ton of thoughts here, man. I can see how the Bengals or the Lions, excuse me, just absolutely turn up. Um, I want to do now is I want to sit on the ARB screen for 2 seconds here, so you guys can maybe find a quick ARB, make some free money for the rest of the day. Then I'm gonna like regroup on some stuff for 12 seconds and get ready to find some big value. I'm trying to find where something like FanDuel to MGM. I'll put it at 120. So if you guys have about 196.60, let me pause because I want to see things I can get there. Pick the odds is amazing for finding ARBs, and as you can clearly see, I want to find something where like both books will probably you'll probably get some money here. I don't know what your limits might be. Doing 120, you could do the math. DK ARB to penny on that Cincy plus 10.5 with 100K liquidity. That's amazing. Free ARB, free money, Cincy on DK to penny. I'm unfortunately in the US here, so I'm not able to use penny. Bowers confirmed out. Not shocked. I actually I got in on Mayer plus 550, anticipating Bowers being out, and then 2 days later, Mayer's out himself. Michael Mayer, their backup TE. So, no, obviously a little void there, but I was trying to be sharp anticipating. So, I'll also do it here for 265. I'll just do $100, hoping that they'll take that. Give you guys a second to lock in a free $33 and change there. Pick the odds here. You can click this link. It opens both the links. Then it'll pull them right to your bet slip on both of these. I'm sure a lot of people here are limited on 1 or 2 or 3 or all 4 of these books, but hopefully somebody here is loading up their screens here and getting it in. I'm just going to go quickly log into all the books just so I'm ready to go, because I want to use all of these boosts and I don't want things to move in the slip, which of course making content here. So I want to find us all winners, and we've been absolutely cooking, but need to make sure we're in the right spot. I'm seeing, okay, just want to get my stuff going. Hopefully you guys are locking in some ARBs as we speak. This is why I'm staring at the screen, so you guys can log into these accounts and quickly bet these ARBs and make some free money for the slate. I'm just logging back into everything, confirming the boosts so we can run through, bet some first tutties, bet some anytimes, maximize these boosts, and keep finding any more EV spots that come in. I'm logged in to everything, looking at boosts to make sure we know what we got here. Anytime touchdowns on Caesars, NFL stuff on MGM. We have the second chance. Okay. 30% boost on FanDuel, DraftKings, Parlay Boost, and Ghost Leg. Gotcha. We have what we need. Been toying with some PTO filters lately to mimic as best I can what Pinnacle Odds Dropper does. That's a good call out. I've heard of that. I'm not familiar, so unfortunately I can't help you out there, but at the same time would love to collab and like try to figure it out together if you need some help. Absolutely beyond interested there to figure that out. But we're gonna get off the ARB screen. Hopefully you guys just made between these two or everything that you see here. Hopefully these 3 may be a free $100+ or under $100 here. Free 33s, free 62s potentially. Hopefully, could have been moving, but let's lock in now and finalize some of the stuff. I'll do one more quick EV run through, and then we're just betting straight boosts. Everything boosts anytime, first touchdowns. I have like my quote unquote main card, for lack of a better word, locked in. Everything that I told you that I played, like those are my bets. Again, Chargers minus 2.5, 115, 1.2, or minus 120, Saints money line, minus 111, Miami money line, minus 118, Baltimore, Houston under 41, Tet 59+ receiving yards, Dart under 187.5 passing yards, JD5 under 48.5 rushing yards. Cooper Rush under 188.5 passing yards. Quentin Johnston over 59.5 receiving yards. Geno Smith over 225.5 passing yards. That is, again, main card, aka what I've already bet. Like a better word. Now let's continue to build. Look at some props again here. Quick run through. I know a lot of guys, if you do have like Combi still in 365, like feel free to like lock these in as you see the filters and the odds. Hard Rock as well, based on the market here, 110 to 114 market average. DVIG to a bunch of spots. If you have a Hard Rock, this is a no-brainer. If you have a Hard Rock, 7.5%. 365 as well. No-brainer. Hopefully you guys, like I'm just going quickly. Like if you guys are watching and you have these accounts, like log it and do what you got to do. If I could bet at these places, I would. I'm doing this for you guys as well. I've seen a lot of EV on AD Mitchell today, but based on like the coach speak and all that, has to earn his snaps back after the debacle last week. Makes sense to me, honestly. I'm not surprised there. So I haven't bet it just because I'm like, I guess nervous for lack of a better word. This Ramondre 140 to Penny, Novig, FanDuel, and Sporttrade, but again, that's tonight. Actually, tomorrow's the Chiefs. So feel free to bet some of these EVs that I'm going through here from my filters. You see where they're DVIG'd from. You can see the market averages. I'm going to go also to the game line quickly. Then we'll finalize our bets for the slate today with the fun stuff. Now, if we do find some other like game lines, which we'll check out right now, that's worth it, we'll bet it. But actually, I would say like again, like my like main card, lack of a better word, is locked in. Jets first half, Faust, he mentioned it earlier, some steam to the Jets first half stuff, plus 1.5 here, 6%. See, like that's what I'm saying. Like this is a bet. Faust called this earlier. It's still there. Well, we'll find out exactly right now if it's still there. Jets first half plus 0.5 point. And that is DVIG'd to FanDuel, Circa, Profit with decent liquidity, not enough liquidity on Novig there. 140 to Penny, 127 to Bookmaker. I'm in. Again, like have, like I said, like my card, but now it's like let's lock in some of the EV stuff because we try to bet some things early. That's why I stream Wednesdays. So they're always my best bet streams per se, where I always go through my favorite bets I already locked in. Moneyline was 110. So good call out, Foss. We could pull up this whole market here actually. Total points alternate under. Let's pull it up. Good call out, Foss. Let's see if that is still there because we still are seeing good EV on the spread. But no, plus 110 here, market average of 111. Penny went to 114. This is still here. I am curious though, what is the difference in EV though between the first half minus 108 in the first half? Like you're getting a 0.5 point, which obviously isn't like massive, but like from the EV calcs, we were seeing like 7% on that, but it wasn't showing for it wasn't showing here as we see as like something with EV. So this is 6.2%. And I could definitely have my like formulas mixed up here. Spread first half 124. I definitely should have first half money line. Like I maybe don't have it because I haven't seen it. Let's quickly do this here. Bet types, money line. Do I have anything crazy in here? Money line first half. Covered at 108 if a tie. Yeah, of course. But like obviously at the end of the day, and correct me if I'm wrong here, like the goal is the just like the higher EV. Because like yeah, we could have the tie covered, but you'd rather get the EV and like loot or like push. If that makes sense. This is like bringing up some tennis. So I'm quickly doing my EVs. 7.3. So this is actually the better bet. This is what I was trying to figure out here. So I'm betting the first half at 110. This was 6.2 to 7. So realistically, you should bet both. from an EV perspective, but I'm just betting this first half money line. If you want the cover for a tie, you're still getting 6.2% EV. So it's not like you're now taking a bad bet or anything like that. But that's the play there. There's more EV. I know that's the goal we're going for there. So shout out to Faust for flagging and pulling up, and shout out to PTO for helping us make the best bet. That's the value of Pick the Odds, is to make sure we find the best bet there. Tempted by both the stock with ML. I mean, regardless of if you calced it, you made the right decision. So for whatever that's worth, you did make the right EV choice there by betting the 110 because there is slightly more EV on the 110. Shout out to PTO for helping us get there. So I just bet that. I'm in. All right, now looks like the Sharp report has came up from Prime, which I just think is interesting always to look at from like a sharper book. And then again, we're going to lock back in and bet our promos, and we'll continue to look at game lines here. I'll pause. I have like tennis now. Let me do this quickly because I don't want. I have my here. You look at my distribution here quickly. A lot of stuff there. Some Prime forecasters, Penny, different sport trades, Kalshi, bookmaker, bet types. I only leagues. I'll be making a new one. I'm just trying to focus on football for now. But like obviously NBA is back basically, or with the preseason back, hockey's back. We still have some baseball. So I should keep baseball because like, little playoffs if that comes up, I'm definitely interested. But I will build essentially the same filter. I'll probably just edit this to have more sports when it's time, but just for streams on Sunday now, I want to deal, and like you see a ton of width here on this 7.2% EV. So like we bet that. But we'll scroll through this one more time. We'll keep a look and see 5.9 to 7.2. So it's different. It's not like a massive, but there's more EV. Shout out to Patrick Everson here. With the Sharps / Public Arc, he needs pros versus Joes from Prime Sportsbook. Prime is sharper sportsbook, available in a bunch of states. I'll read it out loud, but a little bit of a zoom in there. Sharp action: Jets +3, Raiders +7, Giants +2.5. I like the Raiders. I've been saying it, but I didn't bet it, so I'm not in the same need there. Pros versus Joes: Raiders pros, Colts Joes. Pros and Joes unite on the Commanders and the Giants. Normally these tweets are a little bit more in depth here, but interesting. Always interesting. Biggest needs: Seahawks, Titans, Saints, Chargers. Okay. Maybe I'm on the wrong side here with the Chargers, but it's all in the game. I haven't bet the Raiders. Maybe I will bet the Raiders now based on this. Probably not, but scroll through some other stuff here, some EVs, a lot of Jets stuff. Foss called out the Jets first half steam, and we're seeing it in real time. Some alternate unders. I probably could do some better calculating here. I haven't used the game lines as much just because like with football being so efficient, like I'm kind of just betting where I think the market's going to move or catching some steam in real time during the week rather than doing anything else there. So let's go through and let's bet these boosts. We have a bunch of guys that we like. I already like bet parlays of like the guys that I took with some EV. Like for example, I already bet a parlay of Quentin Johnson over receiving yards, Chris Rodriguez over rushing yards, Geno over passing yards, and also Trevor Lawrence under passing yards. I didn't bet it straight, but I put it in the parlay because I saw some value, but that's for tomorrow. And I'll be streaming tomorrow, of course. And I also already bet a parlay of Dart under, Tet over, Rush under, Daniels rushing under, 11:21. So it's going to be finding new stuff here to lock in rather than, of course, what we've been kind of doing of just like finding. I shouldn't say just doing, but like now it's like we're going to be finding stuff and betting it versus what we've been doing of parlaying what we already bet. So we have some Jets love in the market. We also like Javonte Williams though from a scoring perspective. I'm not in love with the slate here, but we will go and find some props. What we actually could do, I was going to say, like, why are these numbers off? Because I was looking at first half, I was like, why are some of these money line numbers not like so far off market? Because we had the first half looking at there. Now we're talking so much Novig for best price shots. Novig. Raiders Colts. I'm still interested in the Raiders, man. Like I've been talking about them all week. It kind of be like a sin to not bet them at this point. Like not a lot of liquidity there. Bookmaker at the 7.5. +7. All right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do what we were doing before, kind of like taking it slow, but we're gonna do a little bit more rapidly here. We know who we're targeting, and we're gonna build out some boosts. So player props. Anytime touchdown. Javonte Williams had value at MGM, but moved to 135. That's what I got. It was 120. Now we're going now on game day, and it was the best price. Also, I hate how MGM's laid out. Like I don't see what boosts I have like right in front of me. I love how like DK and them do it. Let's see. Like I'm looking at their interface. Their interface stinks. I understand why everybody loves FanDuel, even though they have terrible hold percentages and they kind of, do some terrible pricing stuff. But from a UI perspective, I absolutely get it. Even DK, I actually like. Some first tutties here. We're on Jets first half, so naturally we're going to take a Jet. I want to go with Mason Taylor. Price depending. 220 circa is annoying, but still like my favorite look, though. I would wish I was just in a circus stadium could bet it. G-Dub 10-1. Done. I got the DK the old-fashioned way here, but done. Scrimmage yards, didn't mean to do that. It doesn't matter because we're just trying to get to DK any way possible. So that's actually probably not the best way. Anytime TD, I'm in for first. Come on, DK. I know you have deep linking here. It doesn't matter who I'm looking at. Just get me to DK. And that's a DK integration problem. That's not a PTO, but first touchdown. I don't care that he is like the chalk or giving me like the best. Oh, it's 850. Hold on here. I'm looking at my app. It's 850. So what did I miss? Was I looking at the wrong guy? Or did it just move that quickly? Because that pricing difference was massive. I got a rewatch stream. Someone let me know in chat right there if I was looking at the wrong number or I had the wrong guy up and I'm just dumb, or if that actually just moved from 10 to 850 just that quickly. Because like, I wasn't looking like this guy's not gonna be 10-1 exactly. Like I shocked myself there. 850 is not anywhere near as intriguing because I know this wasn't 10-1. That all just happened. I guess it moved. I don't think they have the odd movement charts for these markets as not many books do. Yeah. I could have sworn that was 10-1. Rico Dowdle anytime. Love that. Let's pull it up quickly. Let's sprint here. Let's freaking sprint here. Panthers. Dowdle lead back, as we know. Wish there was a circle line. Penny taking 1K. Always wish there was a circle line, brother. you and me both. Dowdle. Let's get there. Rico. Boom. Not letting me get old-fashioned way, though. If you guys are watching, I'm sure if you just can peek the odds, we can get there. We could find a different market quickly to get to there. Rico Dowdle anytime. Rico Dowdle anytime. Yeah, Javonte, as we saw, moved. We don't want that. We want players, touchdown scores. Novig 4.7K on the over. Love that. Dowdle 110. EV there. That's absolutely worth betting, boys. Plus 110. Rico Dowdle. I'm in the process myself. I thought there was a touchdown boost on this game. Maybe I'm wrong. Or like definitely I'm wrong, probably. On MGM at least. I know there is on DK, which we'll definitely be using. We got time. I know we're at the 50-minute mark. We already went through all the games from a prop perspective, so now it's a lock-in perspective. Dowdle 110 is there. I'm just going to add some guys to my phone just because, like, I don't know if I'm the dumb one, which is, of course, probable, but I thought there was a boost. I'm just putting 3 random stuff in there. What was I looking for? I don't know. MGM is as whack as could be. Obviously my limits are like shot here, but I'm betting some cheese to hopefully keep going here. Viewing bet slip. I guess there is no boost there, but the Dowdle straight plus 110, absolutely worth it. I know that Caesars has a boost, but again, if the for just touchdowns, so does yeah, but it's minus 115. It's like I don't want anything to do with that. You have a bunch of good stuff bet in, but what's a first touchdown for Dowdle? We were looking at it before. I wanted Tet, but the numbers just aren't adding up, and you can't just bet for. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's a fun bet anyway. So it's like, what really is going to happen? But Malik Washington's come close. 18-1 DK is interesting. Obviously, no Reek, and they did kind of feature him a little bit without Reek. I'm in. Malik Washington first touchdown. Sign me up. 18-1. It's not going to link me. Nope. But I'm on my phone anyway. That's more than fine. 18-1 Malik Washington. I'm on the Fins. Let's go Fins. TD scores. Malik Washington first. Plus 1800. There's a 33% touchdown boost on DK. We'll definitely be utilizing that. I'm not going to use it on Washington. We're going to try to find something a bit better. Honestly, maybe on Javonte. I know we want to do something like more quote unquote fun, like better odds. Okay, just writing that down. For transparency, stick Malik Washington there. First touchdown. Raiders Colts. Like I want to take a Jet still. JK rush plus reception over. Let's look at it. Let's pull it up. I didn't do a ton of prop looking at this game just because you know how annoying Mr. Sean Payton is. Obviously, turned the hell up. Where are my Eagles? Broncos, Eagles. Let's pull it up here. They have it under scrimmage yards at PTO for rush/rec. Same difference. Where is Mr. Dobbins? 55.5 at MGM. Where FanDuel not having scrimmage yards. Best prices. It's same whole percentage, same exact market, 55.5 at MGM, 365, Hard Rock, or is this Bovada? Yeah, Bovada. Better than Combi at 57.5, and better than ESPN and DK's number. So I don't blame you, Biz. I like JK. Totally with you there. We got boost to use. What's the first touchdown? Are we gonna should we buy some narratives here, like AJB? You know, they're saying, oh, like I'm so mad about my lack of red zone targets, man. Like maybe this is their chance to say, you know what, AJ, I got you, bro. We're gonna throw you the football in the red zone. Let's just look at first tutties here. I do like the under. Market said no, though. So obviously I respect the market over what I think is possible, especially because this could be considered low for like two good teams. Two very good teams, of course, at that. A little low for me based on everything. What's Smitty? 14, Circus 13, 16 here at 365. Sport Zeno for anyone who has. DeMarcado. Let's pull him up. I have DeMarcado starting in fantasy for whatever that's worth. It's a PPR league. I just have no clue, brother, how they're going to rock with their rotations, man. Let's first go to anytime, of course. Let's pull it up. 3-1 FanDuel. Like I like the DVIC from FanDuel in some of these markets, but I can understand it. You're getting a potential starting running back at 3-1. Reminds me of like the Commanders when Eckler, first was out in that next game after, where it's like you had McNichols at like a 5-1, Rodriguez at like 3-1, Bill was like minus 110, and you kind of had to like pick and choose. I think it was Bill and McNichols who broke that big run who scored. So like you're getting potentially RB1 at 3-1, Biz. So like I can't hate on that. Let's pull up Carter out of just curiosity. See how they're pricing. So pricing Carter as like the goal line back, but I'm with you, bro. I genuinely like. Why are you going to bet chalk guy when you have no clue. Like this could be the market telling you like he's the guy, and like you might as well bet the 2 T's at 10-1 and call it a day. But that's just not confirmed. Like that's just like definitely like not necessarily the case whatsoever. So I'm with you. I think if you're gonna take your stab on a back, like for fantasy, that's entirely up to your league and how those things go. But for like betting a tutty, I think you should absolutely go with the higher price guy in this kind of high variance, unknown situation. Obviously a shorter slate with some buys going on, again, a game going on right now. So like I really don't love a ton of stuff. I'm definitely gonna bet some Chargers commies first tutties. Let's take a look here. Because I think Keenan, Quinton, and Lad are obviously all in play. 11-1 at Circa for Q. Lad 12-1 at DK. Let's see Keenan's price, but depending on what that is, it's right now with Lad is higher than Quinton. We'll check Keenan. 10-1. It's got to be Lad. Like I know, like I still think Lad is so damn talented. Maybe I'm dying on a hill or Hampton's going to be chalk. Like what's Ertz, honestly, too. Ertz might be intriguing as well. Bill is 17. What's C-Rod? 16. 18 at 365. C-Rod's intriguing. Give me the Herbert show here. No, I didn't want to click him. I wanted to click with Will Dissly. The thing about the Commanders is like you don't need to cheese them in the sense where like you don't need to run some like trickery. Like you could just throw the football to your good players. And as QJ's been the guy, and I have him for the receiving prop over, and I love him today. From a pricing, like Lad at the 12-1, same price as Circa. Like obviously it could just be Hampton and like Day called. Also like Herbert. 21 Herbert's intriguing. Give me all things, and Keenan was what? 10. I think Lad is at this point, like I don't want to say getting disrespected because that's obviously not true. Because he's still 12-1. It's just like so hard to price. I don't think Lad is like cooked or anything like that. Like I think he's still like the guy. 12-1 here at MGM. They have that promo that's like Rico Dowdle went back to even money. So hopefully you guys got in there at the plus 110 because we just got some line value, which is always the move. CLV is king. I'm betting on MGM first tud, Mr. Lad McConkey. Let me just pull up one more piece of information here. First, I just want to make sure I'm checking out the numbers as I want to see here. I'm out on JD5. I think let's check the price here on JD5. 15-1. It's actually decent. I'm in on Lad. Like if Hampton cooks us, Hampton cooks us. Second chance promo also makes it worth it if you can bet at MGM. But I just took Lad McConkey first touchdown for this one. So we have two first tutties locked in. We have Lad and we have could we bet? I forgot. Tell you in 1 second here. After for transparency, get it all written down here. Have it on my phone. Point. Beautiful. We bet Malik Washington for Miami. Lad McConkey locked in. Very, very, very nice. I'm out on JD. I don't think it's a JD spot, unfortunately. Beautiful. That's two games that I like there. Texans Ravens think will be low scoring. I don't know the deal with like Woody Marks and co. Actually, I do want to check Nico. I wish it was a little better. A little short, in my opinion, there. A little short. I want it to be a little bit better there. I was hoping it was like 850, which I guess is understandably why it's not 850. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shocking, but I was hoping for closer to 850 on Nico. I think it could absolutely go off. Then we had a little bit of an injury early. Let's see. We have the 30% boost on FanDuel. We can absolutely use, and the DraftKings still touchdown boost and the ghost leg. So we have some guys that we like. I'm going to build up the DraftKings ghost leg. Let's do it this way. I don't know if we're going to deep link. We can here for certain bets. I'll build it out here, but because it's a ghost leg, we'll get a little bit more aggressive. If you don't have the ghost leg, they are scamming, and I'm not doing it after this week if I don't hit this ghost leg at a principle purely. Give me Juwan. So that's one leg. Doing it on my phone. Juwan Johnson, NFL. Saints, Giants, TD scores. Juwan Johnson. Okay, I'm in Juwan. Nico anytime. 130. 135 at circa. Yeah. Nico. I'm adding Nico Collins. Again, we have a promo. One leg loses. It's all good. Nico Collins plus 130. Okay. And we'll get one more, maybe two. Titans, Cardinals, Chargers, Commies. I have to look at Lions, Bengals props. Like, Amon-Ra's probably terrible odds, but like he's obviously scoring. And I don't mean obviously. I jokingly mean obviously. Minus 110, same price as circa. On God, Amon-Ra's dog. What is I just gotta check Gibbs. All right. My favorite game, let's guess. I'm gonna say minus 200 straight up. 240, 215 at circa 95 at Novig. So compared to the chart books, what am I in a hire me, circa? Come on. I'll just guess. I don't need to know. 200, you'll give your customers a little bit of a boost there. If all of a sudden things get bought in there, Gibbs TD. I mean, bro, like the odds are just like obviously telling you they're much higher than 50% is going to score. Betting laying the 215 or the 195 on Novik for him to score. Up to you there, but I'm never going to say. I find it very, very rare circumstance will ever say, nah, I don't think Gibbs can get in today, man. He's just too damn good. We could do Cowboys Jets here. Like, I've been burnt by Bruce 2 out of 4 weeks. Doesn't mean I can't go back to the well. Mason Taylor, 390 at FanDuel. I wish Circa had a price stock. So I'm definitely going to try to find something where like we can get a better odds already than Circa and go from there. Kind of want to back AD Mitchell, but that's just like disgusting, especially after like all the coach speak and the nonsense. So few games. It is crazy. Like, really. I mean, it is what it is. That's how it happens in the NFL. So we have the TD score boost as well on DK. I'm looking for a ghost leg here to finalize. Buccaneers, Seahawks, Titans, Cardinals. I kind of, so we have Juwan. I don't know who's going to score for Washington, to be honest. I saw some EV on Ertz, but like early in the week. Low scoring game expected. The legs currently are Collins, Juwan, the Dolphins, Panthers. Like, what was Achane again? Probably disgusting. It's like 130 is not that gross, honestly. For the ghost leg as well. I'm adding Achane. I am in on Devon Achane. Ghost leg parlay plus 1446. What's my max here? 10 bones. I'm in. Ghost leg Collins, Achane, Juwan, Johnson. Lock it in. Those are the boys of the day. Achane, Juwan Johnson, Nico Collins. Ghost leg lay. Boom. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. Cowboys Jets. Is there a game where I could see somebody being like a sneaky, like leading receiver? Actually, I'm curious here. Like, what's QJ? Odds are probably shitty. Don't get me wrong. Most receiving yards. Not as bad as I thought. 220. Especially like because this is like where it's like, oh, is he gonna come down to earth? But 330 for Lad. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Cleveland, Minnesota driving 620. I'm sure you guys are ahead of me here. All right, let's keep rocking. So there's some bursts here. I kind of want to go back to because Biz got me thinking about Dear Mercado. Like if his odds for any time are that high, like what is his odds for first? Because I am again in this like camp where when you really don't know who the one is going to be and like okay, so like this you're better off betting any time than first, which is like kind of crazy, but I guess it does make some sort of sense there. Such a short slate. Let me confirm boosts here one more time. We have 15% boost on DK four-legger, a touchdown boost, which is 33% on any touchdown score bet. And then we have FanDuel 30% boost as well. So keep it nice and simple there. We haven't bet anything really seriously here besides the Jets first half we have, which is nice. Isaiah Davis, no thank you. Anytime Tutty. We haven't seen anything from Circa. Actually, there's no Circa odds. It's probably not the move. Broncos, Eagles, anytime. Take a look down the board. What's Hurts? Minus 150, minus 140. So good to see if Circa 10 cents if they had me just guessing odds and putting them up. What's Sutton? Makes sense. Such high touchdown odds for a game where it could definitely be an under spot. Bet 105, best odds 215. Saquon anytime. So hard to bet Saquon at this point. 135 though. ESPN. First is probably like 140. I mean, not 140 plus 400. 450, 410, 425. So not intriguing whatsoever. Circa has odds here for first tutties. We could double down Jawan. 1,500 though, best odds. 265. What's Theo? Well, it's AK. 600. It's Theo Johnson. 20 to 1. So we have a 33% boost. I'm going to use it on Theo. Theo Johnson. The DraftKings boost. Theo Johnson. 33% boost plus 2660. 33% boost. So we're boosted. Theo Johnson first tutty. Give me all that. Writing it down so we have it going. Boom, Theo Johnson, first tutty score. Have a lot of people in chat that are hopping in, so let me read through everything that we have for the boys here. We'll wind down shortly. I have Chargers minus 2.5, minus 115. Saints money line minus 120. Miami minus line minus 111. Baltimore, Houston under 41, minus 118. Tet over 59 and over 58.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Jackson Dart under 187.5 passing yards, minus 115. JD5 under 48.5 rushing yards, minus 115. Cooper Rush under 188.5 passing yards, minus 115. Quentin Johnson over 59.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Geno Smith over 225.5 passing yards, minus 115. I took Jeremiah Thrash to score, or Jamari, he's not scoring. Jets money line first half plus 110. Malik Washington first touchdown 18-1. Ladd first touchdown 12-1. Theo first touchdown plus 2660 with the boost on DK. Ghost Lake Parlay, Juwan Johnson, Nico Collins, Devon Achane. Ali Gordon. I was looking at Ali big time, honestly. I'm glad you called that out now, Biz, too. Because I ended up going with Achane in that Ghost Lake lay, but Ali is so intriguing. Numbers aren't there just yet, but it is an interesting spot. I normally love when Circa for my touchdowns to make sure I get in. When the Circa has the odds, that's where I like to deviate from. Like big time, you have Penny and Circa with some limits. Like it's only 250 limits. So it's hard to like be in love with it. But from like a game perspective, I am intrigued by Ali. I'm just not honestly going to be betting that personally in this spot here. FanDuel 30% boost. We can find a spot to lock in here. Could use it on like a lay. I mean, a game line lay. At this point, the only game where I have like real FOMO is the Raiders plus the 7.5 because, like I talked about it all week, the market moved against it, but the sharp report from Prime was on there. Not dying on that hill, of course, for any means. And the Ravens Texans, man, you guys have been on stream since the get-go. It was 112. And it was moved in the slip. Hopefully some of you guys got into 118. I was like, I'm down back to 112. I wasn't quick enough on stream myself, but hopefully again you guys got in. 146 now on FanDuel at least, and the spread is now 2.5. Let's go back to the money line, see if we can pick off something there because I wanted Houston, and you snooze, you lose. I'm not losing sleep over it, of course. It's just a football game, but I did wish I got in, but we'll see if there's anything even close. This is spread. I want money line. Well, I mean, maybe I'll bet spread. I mean, if it could be shot. Like it probably is shot if that's what FanDuel's hanging. It is shot. That moved like rapidly. Kendrick Miller, I like that. Like, yeah, I mean, I just went with Theo there for like my first because I might as well. Like it's a $5, max bet for me. I'm not chalking too much on that, and I'm with you, brother. I've been streaming for 2 hours. I've been streaming all week. I haven't seen anything, so I'm with you in the same boat. But Kendra is interesting. Let's pull him up here. I'm trying to build out this 30% boost. Like I could just like, I mean, I have a conviction in Miami. I don't know why, because they stink. Even though it doesn't actually matter. Genty even money on DK right now. Let's get there. Let's pull that up. Player props. Anytime TD. Even money right here. Best price, 115 Circa. Thrills bet, actually, if you guys are familiar. I personally am not. Plus 105 there, best price, but the even money on DK. For the boost, depending on what your boosts like maxes are, how that compares to your bankroll. Definitely could be just like an easy one right there. Chargers, Texans, Raiders. Part of me wants to just be like square and take like a fun lay with this boost, which I think I'm just going to do. Like I wanted the Texans, I missed it. I bet the Chargers spread, so I might as well add the money line for a boost. I bet Dolphins money line. And I also just like I'm having Raiders FOMO from that tweet from Prime Sports. From Patrick Everson on behalf. He does some great work. When he's tweeting stuff about MGM, like he's just doing his job. So like nothing, no qualms there. But that information is not relevant. Does not matter what money MGM has on shit because that money is square. The pros and Josie says are uniting on the Canaries and Giants. Says the Raiders of the pro side in the one game this week. Normally has like 3 of them. Again, it's like a smaller slate. But I just used my boost. Call it a FOMO boost, honestly, is fair. Texans, Raiders, Texans plus 7. Excuse me. Raiders plus 7. Texans money line. Miami money line. Chargers money line. Again, I'm already on Miami money line. I'm already on Chargers minus 2.5. So, like, honestly, just for like the sweats I want to be in on Houston and Las Vegas, I'm adding them to a boost plus 1160. So that is the game line. boost right there. So, boom. Caesars has an anytime touchdown boost. I'll read into the terms right now just to make sure. Maybe we'll build that and then call it a day. But nothing else on low. We haven't bet a first tutty on anything in this game. Like, obviously don't have to. We'll look at the value though. The odds, like I've mentioned a few times, like weeks 1 and 2, like books were like okay with being so far off price from Circa. But like now for touchdowns, I should say, but now like Circa constantly has the best price, which makes a ton of sense. But that's kind of what it's been. $25 anytime, 25% anytime touchdown score parlay profit boost. 2 to 25 legs, max $5 has to be plus 300 minimum odds, and a 20% same game parlay boost. Like, yeah, relax yourself there, Caesars. You can find something or attempt to find something. Caesars though always pretty shitty with their odds here. Like what was Genty? Let's go to anytime here on Caesars. 108 isn't terrible. This is not terrible, but again, if you want it straight, DK right here. Shout out to Faust for calling it out there. It's my dog. Jets boys. Because what was Javante here? That's Caesars. With the boost, it will like bring up the value. Don't get me wrong, but we'd always like to get bets that are already EV and then like maximize. 127 to 115. Like, no, thank you. We had a 120. We had a 110 earlier on. No, it was 120 on Javante. It's Brees out of curiosity. 120 to circa 115. Limits $500 on Hall though. 128 at Penny, which is nice. G Dub secondaries cooked 135. So they're just in line with circa. Again, high total though. There was some steam to the under. We do like the Jets here. Steam back to 47.5 actually. So there is some real under steam, but still a high total. So obviously expecting at least some tutties. G Dub 135. I'll add that to the slip. They have a pre-made G Dub Brees Javante Ferguson. I'll pass. Let's go back to Commies Chargers. Anytime Bill. I'm out on JD, unfortunately. What was Ertz? I saw some EV on Ertz. 215 though, 230. Circa's not doing us any favors with some pricing. It's Keenan. No Circa. 173, 165. I already bet Lad first and QJ props overs, but like part of me, like I'm overthinking to myself here because I do want action on like all of them in some capacity because I like one of them are scoring. Like obviously the goal is to find which one. Amarion could obviously just be the guy. 135 to 125. No. We already have Nico in something. I don't really like what's the king? Like I don't get me wrong, I'm kind of down to fade the king today. But I just am curious. Like 150 to 155. So there is EV actually. Dog, I mean, sorry, because it's a good place to get in. My parlays was $5. I use them every week. Once in a while, I'll get a 10, and like once in a while, I get a 15. But they're just gonna limit you, bro. Like, you don't have to be betting exactly that to get limited on like it's not like a direct correlation. They'll limit you on things, and then you're just cooked. But no, I'm kind of anti-king, though. It's like that's the best price you'll get on Derrick Henry. We have Keaton Mitchell back, who I think is going to play. But I think the Ravens really do struggle to score. Honestly, I do. Titans cards. What's DeMarcado on Caesars? So we're trying to maximize 235. So this dropped. This was 300 earlier when Biz called it out. Nothing at Circa but the bookmaker and Penny. It's just bad, man. It's just bad. Like I don't want to just be taking shit to take shit. Like I want to bet some good stuff. McBride 145, 165. Like no, thank you, man. No, thank you. I know we all want some action. We have Dowdle at 115. This dropped to even money though. Oh, it was 110. Excuse me. Minus 115. Some Malik, like some crazy 305, 330. Like, no, man. Caesar just doesn't want to give us anything. Westbrook Akine, maybe? Nope. FanDuel, best price. Okay. Always down for the market to be on my side. And like I talked about, Faust, at 10:35 when I first started streaming, the first game was Ravens Texans, 112. Texans were 112. Minus one freaking 12. Moved to 118 in the slip. Moved back to 112. Moved to like 122. Now it's 146. Annoying. Just because like if I was just betting and on stream, I would have definitely got in at that good price. But this is more for you. Hopefully some of you guys in there got in. That to me is more important, that you guys are getting in on some stuff rather than me. I already have like the stuff that I bet like big on besides the Jets, which I added. I already had that locked in. Hence why you guys got to be tuning in to stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I didn't stream Friday, but for good reason. I will be streaming this upcoming Friday. Good reason why I didn't stream this past Friday. So don't miss out. I want to get the Caesars boost out of here. Then I think we can call it a day here. If we can. I mean, listen, I'm not forcing it. It's a $5 max. So again, I'm not too mad. Like $280 for Wandale, but Caesars $250 with the boost. So I'm actually going to add Wandale here. That's actually decent pricing because we're going to be getting a boost. Wandale Robinson. Okay. Because I have also Caesars did like a deposit bonus for me today as well, $10. If I deposit 50, I got $50 in bonus bets. So like I'll definitely be maximizing that. I have a week to use those. I could use the boost now on just these two. What does that get me to with the boost here? With just a 2-legger. Does not tell me the odds of the boost. It's 10-1. Okay. At 10-1, I'm in. I don't think I need to like kind of hunt anymore. Plus, yeah. Okay. I'm in. I hate how they don't show you the boosted odds. Like, why wouldn't you just do that? Make it easy for the boys. But all good. Plus 723. Garrett Wilson, Wandale, both EV legs. Keep it to 2. No need to over bet legs and put them in. But that's all the major boosts I wanted to use. We could find like a DK quickly for the 15% 4-legger. It's just like, why are we 4-legging? Like, we have. Like, I don't know. I can leave that to the imagination there. Let's go to the EV screen one more time and see anything that pops up. Because at this point, if a game line is popping up, definitely could be sharp if it's there quickly. So let's go to game lines. Then we'll do one more run through the props. So then again, we have 20 minutes till game time. And I know we're all beyond excited for that there. Yeah, already showing next week. A little look ahead action, 4% on the look ahead if you guys want Jets Broncos. Have some tennis in here. Moneyline second half, no thank you. We have next week already popping up. So it might be a situation where the board is just, we already just rock the board. The board is set. It's game time shortly. It's week 5 already. Seeing only 2%. So we never really see anything crazy. The under, Faust, I don't know if you actually played. You called this out earlier, some steam to the under. If you had not bet it, it's still here. It's still here. I mean, I'm betting this, honestly, 2.4% right before game time compared to where it is. I'll pull it up here for you guys to make sure it's there. I'm betting this. Obviously, 48 a key number. This to me, Vikings just scored. Browns plus 3.5. Should have bet it. They kicked the extra point though. They had 14, so there was a 4.5 in market. I know how not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are like, "Yo, I can't believe like Vegas knows, bro." Like the market knows. The market's gotcha. I bet this Cowboys Jets under 48.5. I bet it. I know how bad these defenses are. I know the Jets had some like crazy turnovers. This is pure market here. We're 30 minutes to first kick. First kick. What am I? Square. 2 kickoff, and we're seeing 2.4% EV, minus 110, the market average of 128. DVIC to Penny, bookmaker, profit, sport trade, prime. Bunch. I'm in. I wonder what Circa is. I'm guessing Circa's 47.5, which is why it's there and not showing like EV there. But I just bet that under, but I'm curious to see what it is. Browns plus 4.5. That was up for a bunch of seconds. Yeah, it looks like you're hopefully breaking relatively even there, just dropping juice and nothing too big there. But like, damn, I'm pissed, man, because I was on stream. I think it had to be Wednesday. Oh no, I think it was Thursday on stream, and the 4.5 popped up, and I was talking about it with I was on Profit Duel stream with Ryan. He was the one who was talking about it. So we both liked the Brownies, and I was talking about how 3.5 just did seem a bit short, and there was a 4.5 out there on the market. It was one rogue 4.5 at DK. I didn't bet it. Wish I did, but what's the total at Circa here? It's 47.5. So I bet the 48.5 under. We'll see what happens. I'm in, but add that to the card. So we just did the game on one more final prop. Then I'll read through the plays for today. Boom. I mean, yeah, love that, brother. Good shit. Good shit. One more game line EV. Then actually, I'll end on the ARB. I'll set up an ARB and I'll read through what I have. If you have 265, it's 10% EV to Keenan, man. 160. I gotta add bookmaker probably to that. So like maybe tread a little lightly. Maybe treat it as like a little bit lower, because that would definitely decrease that EV percentage there from 10.6%. There's Brian Thomas at 265. If you have, I love 110 to 113 market average. If you got 265, I would definitely bet this. This Ertz over also. Let's see the market. I got to add bookmaker. I'm a little lower on some of these now. I had some success, but I think it was a bit lucky. I guess lucky's not the right move. Just a bit, actually, lucky is the right word. Good variance in some of these calcs. With some of these reception props or the props that I only have to like some sport trades, or I don't have bookmaker, I should probably adjust there realistically. K-Dub under. From just straight value perspective, this is definitely value. So 4.7%, under 1.5. Sport trade, profit, Novig, and FD 114, 135. Interesting. I'm gonna lay off, but like I definitely could see betting that and not thinking twice. Juju over for tomorrow. May want to get in early. All right, Kincaid over for tonight. 3.5, 135 to Novig, profit, Penny. I'm betting this for tonight right now. I'm in. Let's add a final Sunday night play. Don't have anything for Sunday just yet. Have some boosts for later. That'll always still go down. We already knew that. I'm in. Kincaid getting 4 catches tonight. No, it's tough with how Buffalo runs their offense, but I'm in. Beautiful. All right, let me pull up the ARB screen so you guys can hopefully lock in free ARB, and we will call it a day. I don't even really go over this game. I think the pages are fully live, so I'll just leave it at that. I'm not betting it. I haven't bet it unless like I see a crazy steam move, but looks like Vikings winning cover. So shout out to Vikings backers, Viking survivors. If you guys were in, good for you guys. Let me pull up an ARB while I read through everything we have. Let's find you guys some free money. We found the free 30s before, free 60s actually. So hopefully you guys are getting yourself some lunch or betting it back down. I mean, they have to like win earlier today, but trying to find, even if they're lower, but like hopefully books where like they won't, maybe you guys won't be limited and can get in. on some stuff that isn't like a tackle prop. I have no clue how much you're taking on that. Definitely not a lot from sharper accounts, unfortunately. Let's go for a second. There's some filters on the ARBs. Only having books I can ARB at. I think that's in bet openly here. Bet types, we have all date and time leagues. We have everything set up. I have a minimum of 2%. Maximum legs 3. Maximum results 100. Minimum liquidity is definitely worth adding as well. Alrighty. Let's let me ask you that, Faust. How much are you weighing FD in your TDs? Because there definitely are, some spots where you can pick off EVs, but because it's been hanging around all morning and FD generally being sharper than tutties, I personally weigh them decently. So I'm not running to bet that with 17 minutes before the slate kicks off, but I could be convinced otherwise, considering your thoughts. So I'm curious if you have a strong opinion on that. I think this could be decent. There's no way. Yeah, that's 100. Let's do second half total. If they're not taking 150 at 365, hopefully you guys get a free extra 10s right here. I'm going to read through what I have, but B365 and FanDuel right here in ARB, 700 minus 450. Zoom in for you here so you guys can hopefully lock that in. But let me read through everything that I bet on mixture of on stream and from stream Wednesday. And again, I was going to stream Friday. Good reason why I did not, but I'm streaming. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, 5 days a week. So make sure you're following Echo BetSmart. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. It'd be really appreciated. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We just hit 100 subscribers this weekend. Have a new video coming out tomorrow, full length, 8-minute video. I have a bunch of other amazing short form and long form YouTube content coming. So make sure you're following, subscribed on YouTube. Don't really put too much weight on FT for TD. It's just sticking out relative to the market. Okay. Understandable. I could be overrating them. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, because I know they are sharper in some other props, especially like NBA doesn't necessarily correlate. Market king, deviating from the right place in the market, I guess would technically be more king. But glad to hear, Floss. Thank you for your thoughts. Always curious. Share that like button on stream, brother, if possible. Let's read through what we got here. So everything that I bet so far for today, I have, again, 1.15 units on Chargers minus 2.5, minus 115. New Orleans money line minus 120. Miami money line minus 111. Baltimore Houston under 41 minus 118. All these are 150 or minus 115 at MGM. Tet over 58.5 receiving yards. Dart under 187.5 passing yards. JD5 under 48.5 rushing yards. Cooper Rush under 188.5 passing yards. Quentin Johnston over 59.5 receiving yards. Geno Smith over 225.5 passing yards. Jets first half money line plus 110. Malik Washington first touchdown plus 1,800. Ladd McConkey first touchdown plus 1,200. Ghost Lake parlay on DK, Juwan Johnson, Nico Collins, Devon Achane plus 1,446. Theo Johnson first touchdown, DK boost plus 2,660. Four-legger with FanDuel's 30% boost. Raiders plus 7. Texans money line, Dolphins money line, Chargers money line. Caesars touchdown parlay, Garrett Wilson, Wan'Dale Robinson. Jets, Cowboys under 48.5 minus 110 on DK, and on MGM, Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions plus 135. So that is a fat card for the day, boys. We're locked and loaded. Best of luck to everybody today. Last, if you guys aren't using Pick the Odds, if you did not see how quickly they found us all these positive EV bets, these free arbitrages, which we made over almost $100 today on just arbing, real-time odds. There's a free trial. I'm going to tweet out a free trial link under the stream right now. Absolutely make sure you guys take advantage of Pick the Odds. It's one of the best sports betting tools. They have a free tier. You can literally free ARB and EV up to 2% on the free to get enough money to build your bankroll to maybe invest in the full version. It's like $120 a month, worth every cent. And I really think it's absolutely worth trying. It's an amazing tool. So custom DVIGs, custom filters for every single prop market across 110 different sports books. All your EV calcs entirely up to you. Real-time odds, arbitrage, calculators. There are bet trackings on the way. It's going to be sick. A bunch of calculators as well. It's absolutely an amazing tool. So shout out to Pick the Odds. Thank you for sponsoring, and click the link. It's below stream. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button. If you're on X, make sure you're following, or go to YouTube and hit that subscribe and follow button. That would be amazing. Would really appreciate that as well. Sick YouTube content coming out this week, teaching you how to break down odds with Pick the Odds, other tools, how to be better sports better, all of that great stuff. Also about short form, long form. You guys, let me know if you guys don't like the content. I'll do better. I'll make better content. Shout out to everybody. Have a great and profitable Sunday. If I get cooked, I get cooked, but we're not getting cooked. We're cooking the books today. See you guys. Best of luck. I'll see you on stream tomorrow. Adios.